Long before footballers became global celebrities, Kevin Keegan already looked like a rock star. The perm, the energy, the swagger. Everything about Kevin Keegan felt larger than football itself. But what truly made Keegan unforgettable was emotion. Because Kevin Keegan did not simply play football. He made supporters feel alive. Born in Doncaster, England, in 1951, Keegan did not begin his career as a global superstar. In fact, many doubted whether he was physically gifted enough to succeed at the highest level. He was not the tallest, not the strongest. But Kevin Keegan possessed something impossible to measure: relentless belief. And once he arrived at Liverpool, under legendary manager Bill Shankly, everything changed. Liverpool during the 1970s became one of football's great dynasties. Aggressive, fearless, relentless. And Kevin Keegan became the emotional heartbeat of the team. He played football with visible passion. Every sprint looked desperate. Every goal looked personal. Every celebration felt explosive. Supporters connected to that instantly, because Keegan never looked detached from the game. He looked emotionally consumed by it. At Liverpool, Keegan won 3 First Division titles, 2 UEFA Cups, and the FA Cup. And alongside players like Ian Callaghan and John Hack, Liverpool conquered Europe. Yet even among great players, Keegan stood apart, because football fans saw themselves in him. He did not play like somebody untouched by pressure. He played like somebody feeling every second of it. That emotional connection made him one of football's first true superstars. By the late 1970s, Kevin Keegan was everywhere. Magazine covers, advertisements, television appearances. The perm became iconic. And long before modern football branding existed, Keegan had already become football's first celebrity footballer. Then came Germany. When Keegan joined Hamburger SV in 1977, many English supporters were shocked. English footballers rarely left England during that era. But Keegan embraced the challenge. And once again, he succeeded. In Germany, Keegan transformed himself from English star into world football icon. He won 2 Ballon d'Or awards, Bundesliga title, European Cup final appearance only beaten by Nottingham Forest managed by Brian Clough. And across Europe, supporters fell in love with his energy and determination. Former teammate Franz Beckenbauer once admired Keegan's incredible work ethic and intensity. Because no matter the pressure, Keegan never stopped running, never stopped believing. And perhaps that became the defining image of his entire football life. Not perfection, effort, emotion, fight. For England, Keegan became captain and national icon. But international tournaments often brought frustration rather than glory. And somehow, that almost made supporters love him more. Because Kevin Keegan never felt distant. He felt human. You could see the pressure on his face, the passion in his celebrations, the disappointment in defeat. Football supporters recognized authenticity in him. And authenticity creates emotional connection. After retirement, Keegan eventually returned to football management. And once again, emotion followed him everywhere. Nowhere more than at Newcastle United. During the 1990s, Keegan transformed Newcastle into the entertainers. They attacked fearlessly, played with chaos, scored constantly, and made supporters dream again. St. James's Park became electric. Black and white scarves filled the sky. Hope returned to Newcastle. And Kevin Keegan stood on the touchline living every second emotionally. But Kevin Keegan's emotional connection with football did not end at Newcastle. In 1999, he became manager of England national football team. For a man who had once carried the hopes of England as captain, the pressure returned once again. Managing England is different from managing a football club. Every decision becomes national debate. Every defeat feels personal. And once again, Keegan carried that emotional weight visibly. Although his time as England manager was difficult, supporters still recognized the passion he brought to the role. Because Kevin Keegan never knew how to give football anything less than everything. Throughout his managerial career, Keegan also managed Fulham and Manchester City. And wherever he went, one thing always followed him: emotion. His teams attacked bravely, played fearlessly, and reflected his personality completely. Because Kevin Keegan never wanted football to feel cautious. He wanted football to feel alive. And the moment football will never forget. I would love it if we beat them. Love it. The famous press conference became one of English football's defining images. But beneath the memes and modern jokes, there was something tragic about it. Because that speech was not really about rivalry. It was pressure, passion, exhaustion. A man carrying the hopes of an entire city. And perhaps that moment perfectly captured Kevin Keegan himself. Emotional, passionate, consumed by football. Some footballers are remembered for statistics, others for trophies. Kevin Keegan is remembered for feeling. Across his career, he scored over 200 goals, won football's biggest honours, and became one of England's most beloved figures. But more importantly, he made football feel alive. That is why Kevin Keegan will always remain a true footballing icon. Not simply because he won, but because he made supporters believe. What is your favorite memory of Kevin Keegan?